Hello everyone. Did you ever lose something you thought was already yours? I mean really yours. You could taste it. You could feel it sitting in your pocket. A win. A job offer. A spot on the team. And then somehow it was gone. Poof. Like smoke in the wind. You stand there blinking, asking yourself what just happened. Where did I go wrong? I know that sting. I have felt it too. And every time it happens I think back to a story I heard as a kid. But not the version you know. This one hits different. This one has teeth. It is about a hare named Henry and a tortoise named Timmy. And what happened between them changed how I see effort forever. Henry lived in a wide green meadow bordered by oak trees and a slow winding creek. He had long, powerful legs and ears that caught every whisper of wind. When he ran, the grass bent flat behind him. Daisy petals flew into the air like confetti. Squirrels stopped chasing each other just to watch. He was born fast. It came so easy to him that he never once questioned it. Speed was his identity. And why would he question a gift like that? People said, "Henry, you are amazing." And Henry believed them. He believed them so much that he stopped trying. He rolled out of his burrow each morning with a yawn. He stretched in the sun and waited for the compliments to roll in. And they always did. At first. But then something shifted. The other animals started to notice that Henry never stopped talking about himself. "Did you see me this morning?" he would ask a rabbit. "I crossed the whole meadow in under 10 seconds. The rabbit would nod. "Nice, Henry. That is great." But the rabbit had work to do. Carrots to gather. Burrows to dig. Henry did not care. He hopped over to the badger. "Bet you wish you could move like me." The badger sighed. "I move just fine, Henry." But Henry was not listening. He was already scanning for the next pair of ears to fill with his own voice. That is the thing about bragging. It fills your head with noise so loud you cannot hear anything else. You stop seeing the people around you. You only see an audience. And when the audience gets bored, they leave. Timmy lived on the other side of the meadow near the old stone wall. He was a tortoise of few words and steady habits. Every morning he woke with the sun. He took a slow sip of dew from a clover leaf. Then he began his walk. Not to anywhere special. Just a walk. He liked to feel the earth under his feet. He liked the way the shadows changed shape as the sun moved. He noticed things. A beetle climbing a blade of grass. A mushroom pushing through damp soil. Things you miss when you rush. Timmy never hurried. Not because he could not, but because he saw no reason to. He had time. He used it well. Henry thought Timmy was a joke. That slowpoke, he called him. Look at him. A rock moves faster. The other animals would glance at Timmy and then back at Henry. They said nothing. But their silence was loud. One afternoon the meadow was heavy with heat. Cicadas buzzed in the trees. Everyone moved slow. Everyone except Henry, who was bouncing around looking for a crowd. He found a small group by the creek. And there was Timmy just passing by. Perfect, Henry thought. A live prop for my show. He bounded over and stood right in Timmy's path. Timmy stopped. Looked up. Yes, Henry. Henry puffed out his chest. Timmy, do you ever get tired of being so slow? Timmy blinked. No. Do you ever get tired of running in circles? The group by the creek went quiet. A frog croaked. Henry laughed, but it was a tight laugh. That does not even make sense, he said. I am the fastest animal here. I could beat you in a race without breaking a sweat. Timmy tilted his head. Then let us race. Henry froze. Wait, what? You heard me, Timmy said. You talk a lot about winning. So when? Prove it. The silence was thick now. Henry looked around. Everyone was staring. He could not back down. Not in front of them. Fine, he said. Tomorrow morning. At the big oak. Do not be late. Timmy nodded. I am never late. I just arrive when I arrive. That evening the meadow buzzed with the news. A race. The hare and the tortoise. You have got to be kidding. But it was real. Animals cleared their schedules. Mothers told their little ones they could stay up past sunset to hear about it. The fox sharpened a stick to draw a line in the dirt. He took his job as judge very seriously. Henry slept like a baby that night. Why would he worry? He was fast. Timmy was slow. End of story. Timmy slept too. Deep and peaceful. He did not think about winning or losing. He thought about the walk. 1 foot. Then the next. That was all he ever thought about. Dawn broke pink and gold over the meadow. The big oak stood tall. A crowd had gathered. Squirrels perched on low branches. Birds lined the higher limbs. A family of mice sat on a flat stone. The fox stood at the starting line with a leaf in his paw. Henry bounced on his toes. He wore a confident grin. He even waved to a few admirers. Timmy stood beside him. Still. Calm. His eyes fixed on the path ahead. The fox raised the leaf. On your marks. Get set. Go. The leaf dropped. Henry shot forward like a stone from a slingshot. Grass clippings flew. A cloud of dust rose. Timmy lifted his right foot. Set it down. Lifted his left. Set it down. The crowd roared. Then they settled into wait. Everyone knew this would take a while. Henry was already halfway across the meadow. He glanced over his shoulder. Nothing. Just a tiny brown in the distance. He laughed to himself. This is too easy. He slowed to a trot. The sun was warm. A gentle breeze ruffled his fur. He passed a patch of wild strawberries. They smelled sweet. He stopped and ate a few. Why not? He had time. Lots of it. He wandered over to a cluster of buttercups. He sniffed them. The world was beautiful when you were not racing. He forgot about the race for a moment. Just a moment. Then he remembered and laughed again. He could take a nap and still win by a mile. He spotted a willow tree with soft grass underneath. The branches hung down like curtains. It looked like a green room made just for him. He curled up in the shade. Closed his eyes. The grass was cool. The air smelled like mint and damp earth. He fell asleep in seconds. And he dreamed of standing on a podium made of acorn caps. Everyone cheering his name. Meanwhile, Timmy was still moving. The sun climbed higher. It got hot. The kind of hot that makes the air shimmer. Timmy's shell grew warm. Then hot. Sweat beaded on his wrinkled neck. He did not stop. He passed the strawberry patch. He saw the bitten berries Henry had left behind. He did not pause. He passed the buttercups. Their yellow faces turned toward him like tiny suns. He kept going. His legs ached. His breath came slow and steady. He thought about the cool mud by the creek. He thought about the shade of the big oak. But he did not stop. 1 foot. Then the next. A beetle landed on his shell. Rode along for a while. Then flew off. A butterfly circled his head. He smiled but kept walking. The path curved around a large rock. He went around it. He did not cut corners. He stayed the course. That was his way. The animals at the finish line grew restless. They chatted. They nibbled on seeds. They wondered aloud if Henry had already won and was just waiting somewhere to gloat. The fox checked his leaf. He squinted into the distance. Nothing yet. The sun crept across the sky. Shadows stretched. A few younger animals dozed off. but the older ones stayed alert. They knew something the young ones did not. Races are not always won by the fastest. Sometimes they are won by the one who never stops. Timmy reached the willow tree. The grass was pressed down where Henry lay. Timmy saw the hare curled up, mouth slightly open, whiskers twitching in a dream. Timmy stopped. Not to rest, just to look. He could have said something, woken him up, gloated a little. Henry deserved it after all the trash talk. But Timmy did not. He just took a breath and kept walking. His steps were quiet on the soft earth. He passed the willow. The shade fell away. The sun hit his shell again. Hot. Heavy. He did not flinch. The finish line was not far now. He could see the big oak. He could see the crowd. Small shapes moving. He heard a faint sound. Were they cheering? He could not tell. It did not matter. He just walked. Back under the willow, Henry stirred. A fly landed on his nose. He twitched, swatted it away. His eyes fluttered open. The light was different. Softer. Golden. He sat up fast. How long had he slept? He looked toward the finish line. His blood ran cold. There was Timmy. A dark shape against the green grass. Only a few dozen steps from the oak. Henry scrambled to his feet. His heart pounded in his ears. He ran. He ran harder than he had ever run in his life. His legs screamed. His lungs burned. The wind stung his eyes. He pushed past the pain. He stretched every muscle. Faster. Faster. The crowd saw him coming. They gasped. They shouted. They waved their paws. Henry closed the gap. He was a blur. A streak of brown and white. But Timmy was close. So close. Henry reached the last stretch. His paws dug into the dirt. He was flying now. Truly flying. But Timmy took one more step. And another. And another. And then his front foot touched the line the fox had drawn. The meadow exploded. Birds shot into the air singing. Squirrels chattered and threw acorn caps like confetti. The mice squeaked and jumped up and down. The badger clapped his heavy paws together. The fox raised his leaf high. Timmy has won, he announced. His voice was clear and proud. Henry skidded to a halt just a few feet past the line. He stood there panting. His chest heaving. His legs shaking. He stared at the ground. He could not look up. Not at the crowd. Not at Timmy. He had lost. He had actually lost. To a tortoise. The words echoed in his skull. He wanted to disappear. To sink into the earth. But then he felt a gentle tap on his leg. He looked down. Timmy was standing there. Henry said, "Timmy, I am so sorry. For everything I said. For how I acted. You were right about me." Timmy shook his head slowly. "Henry, you are fast. That is a real gift. But a gift means nothing if you never unwrap it. You have to use it. You have to work at it. Every day." Henry swallowed hard. He nodded. "I know. I know now." Timmy smiled a small warm smile. "Then let us walk back together. Not race. Just walk." That story stuck with me. Not because a tortoise beat a hare. That part is fun, but it is not the point. The point is what Timmy knew that Henry had to learn the hard way. Talent is a starting block. Nothing more. It gets you into the race. But it will not carry you to the finish line. Only steady work does that. The kind of work nobody claps for. The kind you do alone on a Tuesday morning when you would rather stay in bed. That is what steady means. Showing up. Putting in the time. Trusting the process. Even when the hare in your life is napping under a willow tree thinking they have already won. Because sometimes they have. Sometimes they get the job you wanted. Sometimes they take the spotlight. But the race is not over. It is never over. As long as you keep moving. One step. Then the next. That is how you win the things that matter. Not with a flash of speed. But with a lifetime of showing up. So here's my question for you. What is your willow tree right now? That thing that tempts you to stop. To rest just a little too long. We all have one. It looks different for everyone. Maybe it is a screen you scroll instead of doing the work. Maybe it is a voice in your head that says you are not fast enough anyway, so why bother? Maybe it is just the comfort of easy days. That is the real race. Not against hares. Not against tortoises. Against the part of you that wants to nap. And every time you choose to take the next step, instead you win a small victory. Those small victories stack up. They build something solid. Something that cannot be taken away by a faster runner. So keep going. Keep stepping. I will see you at the finish line. Or maybe somewhere along the path. Either way, I will be walking too. One step at a time. See you next time.
能以非母语者的身份专注学习到现在，这本身就是很棒的进步。真诚感谢你的观看。如果你觉得本期内容实用，点赞或留言让我知道你的想法，这对我持续创作非常重要。我们下期见。